Welcome back to another video on physics, motions, force and energy. And these questions were extracted from science past papers from the IGCSE test. So the question 28 would be the first of our lesson today. Is the diagram shows the speed time graph for a car. How far does the car travel in 30 seconds? As we have discussed in the previous videos, the distance of the speed-time graph is calculated by the area under the graph. And here, in this circumstance, it is a trapezoid. And if we rotate the image, the graph, to 90 degrees to the right, it would be a trapezium or the trapezoid with two bases like this. And we can calculate the area of this by using the equation or the formula, like the sum of two bases is 10, this one is 10, this one is from 0 to 30 is 30, times the height is from here to here is 30, divided by 2. 10 plus 30 is 40, 40 divided by 2 is 20, 20 times 30 is 600. So we have 600 meters is the correct answer. The next one, a brick of mass 2.0 kilograms is at rest. It falls to the ground through a distance of 5.0 meters. So we can rewrite this one as a mass is m equals to this one is distance, or we say height, or because it is the height, because height equals 5 meters, because this object falls to the ground, so we can consider the distance as a height. The acceleration of free fall g is 10 meters per second squared. Air resistance can be ignored. A block of mass. Here we have like a block, right? Like a tall building, and here is a brick, and all of a sudden it falls to the ground. And here is the height, which is 5 meters, and the mass of the brick is 2.0 kilogram. Okay, so we can apply the energy conservation here. So when the brick is on the building, is up there, it has the potential energy. That is potential gravitational energy. Or we can say GPE equals mgh, where m is mass, g is the gravitational force, which is 10 meters per second squared, and h is the height. So we will substitute these values to the formula. We have mass is 2 times 10 times the height is 5 equals 100. And when the brick hit the ground, all the energy is transferred to the kinetic energy, or we can say Ke equals 1 over 2 mv squared. And we will substitute this would equal to GPE, which is 100, because all the energy, all the initial energy, they appears in the gravitational potential energy, and all of them, when the brick hit the ground, all of them is transferred 100% to kinetic energy, because air resistance is ignored. So we will solve this equation to give us the speed. So here we have the v squared equal 200 over m. M is 2, right? So v squared is 100 and v is 10. 10 meters per second is the correct answer. So question 31. Which source of energy is renewable? Renewable means like unlimited. It stays forever. Geothermal. Geothermal is the heat comes from the inside of the earth. And we can consider geothermal as a renewable or unlimited source of energy. So A is the correct answer. Natural gas like methane, ethane, butane, they come from the dead plants or animals, decomposing for a longer time. So these would ended up in exhaustion. So natural gas is not a correct answer. Also, nuclear fission. This one is a combination of hydrogen, two hydrogen nuclei to become one single atom, helium. So this would also not be a renewable source. Oil also not, because oil comes from plants and like fossil fuels. Okay, so A is a correct answer. 29. What is the difference, if any, between the terms speed and velocity? This would be the easier one because speed is just the simpler version of velocity, whereas the velocity, it has two factors. When we talk about velocity, it is the magnitude. When we talk about the velocity of an object, we have to talk about the magnitude, say 10 kilometers per hour, and we have to talk about the direction of it, like it moved to the west, it moved to the right, it moved up, it moved down. So the second one is direction. But when we talk about speed, just the magnitude is enough. So we have the answer A, non-speed in velocity. Velocity is speed with a direction. So this one, D, is the correct answer. The velocity is more complex than the speed. Okay, the last one, a pole vaulter. A pole vaulter is like an athlete in the game, and they use a pole, a very long pole, to jump high above the ground, and then they would fall onto the ground, actually on a mattresses. A mass 60 kilograms rises to a maximum height of 5 meters. Here is a pole, a horizontal pole, and here is an athlete, and he would use a long pole to run close to this area, and then he would jump up and then over the horizontal pole, and then he would end up in this area. So we will apply the energy conservation like in this problem. Okay, so he would rise to a maximum height of 5 meters and then falls to the ground. So when he hits the maximum height, all of the energy has been transferred to GPE, or gravitational potential energy. So we would calculate the GPE of him when he hits the maximum height, which is mgh. M is mass 60 times the free fall g is 10 times the height, which is 5 meters, and this one is 600 times the 3000, and the k, the acceleration, everything at what speed does the pole vaulter hit the ground when she falls? So whenever she falls on the ground, right before she hit the ground, all of the energy existed in GPE will be converted 100% to kinetic energy because air resistance can be ignored. So KE equals 1/2 mv squared would be equal to 3000, and we can use this equation to calculate the velocity. So mv squared equal to 3000 times 2, which is 6000. 6000 divided by 60 equals 100, and v is 10 meters per second. So the same answer to the question 30, right?